Good morning, Heathlands, and welcome to week 82 of Heathlands at Home Extended Broadcast. So far this week we've
had Nick's exercise session on Monday at 11:15.
Art Live with Helen Tuck. This week drawing a starfish. Starfish love.
I was drawing the starfish. Anyway, starfish impressions aside, on Tuesday we had
Heathlands game is at 10:30 a.m. this time.
This week we had Connor and Mark playing Crash Bandicoot 2.
And Sports Fanatics with Jackie was at 1:30 on Tuesday as well.
We hope that went well, and remember, JA. So anyway, coming up next today from Heathlands Home will be
live lunch from 12 p.m. to 12:45 p.m.
Nicola's, not Spiff's, Nicola's themed bingo is on at 1 today.
Yes, but still recovering from his little operation. And today's theme is excuse me. Today's theme is well, pretty much everyone's favourite at this point, poo bingo.
Oh.
like Amber Heard and the Johnny Depp trial. Anyone get that reference?
So anyway, that aside, so come join Nicola, us, and everyone in the Purple Bubble today at 1.
And coming up right now, we have...
Now, before we can play our mystery craft...
I like the way you said that. Read on. Don't let me...
You read on.
We have a very special interview that we recorded last Wednesday.
You may remember we mentioned last week that we had a special guest coming in to do an interview.
I wonder if anyone guessed who we're interviewing.
We
shouldn't leave them in suspense, should we?
I'm not sure if they did know or guess, but...
The moment we all been waiting for, we shouldn't be leaving you in suspense any longer. Hello and welcome to a very special interview hosted by me, Sarah Farmer.
And me, Mark Greener.
With us today we have a very special visitor who has come to visit us at the Heathlands.
We have the one and only High Sheriff of Cumbria.
First of all, welcome to the Heathlands Project.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
So for this interview, we have a series of delving questions for you. So I'm going to ask the first 5 questions.
Then I'll ask you the remaining 5. Now over to you, Mark.
Right. So one of the first questions I have to ask is, what do you do as the High Sheriff?
Right. Well, the role of High Sheriff goes back almost over 1,000 years to Anglo-Saxon times. And in those, I haven't been in post, I'm only in post for a year, but in those days, the High Sheriff was responsible for law and order and collection of taxes. And in current days, those have all been divested to statutory bodies. So there's the police and the law courts, and obviously the Inspector of Taxes to collect the HM Revenue and Customs. So my role nowadays is just ceremonial, really. And I cover the whole of Cumbria, and I'm here to support the Blue Light Services, voluntary organisation, and the charities. So I'm spending my time going around the county, visiting various places such as this, and showing some support for the wonderful work that goes on.
That sounds great. So how does the High Sheriff's duty affect not just the community, but the county of Cumbria as well?
Right. Well, I'm responsible for the whole of the county because there's a High Sheriff in every county in England and Wales, England, Scotland and Wales. And what I really do is support the activities that go on and show some appreciation of the wonderful work that volunteers do and the communities that they assist. So I'm just there in a support capacity. I also work quite closely with the Cumbria Community Foundation, who are the major grant awarding body in the county that hand out money to various organisations to keep them going. So I've been visiting this week, and next week I'm visiting a lot of the projects that they've supported, hence why I'm here today.
That's good. So who inspired you to like become High Sheriff?
Well, it isn't something you can apply to be. So I didn't, until I was approached, I didn't even know I was going to be High Sheriff. What tends to happen is that the High Sheriff is nominated by a group of previous High Sheriffs, the Under Sheriff, who's there to support the High Sheriff, the Lord Lieutenant, and a group of other individuals, and who meet on an annual basis and select individuals to be future High Sheriffs. So I was approached and given 24 hours to think about the post, and I don't get paid for it or anything. It's purely voluntary. I have to cover all my own costs. But when offered the post and the opportunity to meet so many people around Cumbria, after the thinking about it for overnight, I decided yes, I'll do it.
So how many years does it actually take to like become a High Sheriff?
Well, I knew I was going to be High Sheriff about 3 years ago. But at that point, you can't actually tell anyone because you're sort of behind the screen, as it were. You're not in the public. Your name isn't in the public domain, and it doesn't actually come into the public domain until a few weeks before you're actually appointed. So I had to keep it a secret, really. But during that period, you're invited to go away to conferences, etc. You actually work with the previous High Sheriffs and learn about the role and the things that the High Sheriff does. So there's a guidance procedure. Plus also the Under Sheriff is very supportive and gives you guidance on what to do and when to do it and how to do it. And there is a High Sheriffs Association that are very supportive of the role as well.
So does it take some training to become High Sheriff, and if so, how long does the training last?
Well, as I just said in the previous answer, the support mechanism is there from the previous High Sheriffs. My wife and I went away for a one-day conference in Burley, which is organised by the High Sheriffs Association, and at that conference they have people talk about the role of High Sheriff. You have a previous High Sheriff talking about what they've done in their year. So over a period of time you build up the knowledge to be able to take on the role. There isn't any formal training process, but there's a lot of support mechanism, and also I was given a nice big booklet that I could read to tell me, has all the common questions in, and about the outfit that you wear and everything else that goes with the job.
So do you work with other people when you're the High Sheriff? Do you have a deputy or anybody like that? Do you have anybody who works by your side?
Well, we work very closely with the Cumbria Community Foundation because they're the major grant giving organisation in the county, and they support lots of charities and voluntary organisations and give out grants on an annual basis. So the visits I've been doing this week have all been organised by the Community Foundation for me to visit lots of places such as here that are doing great work in the community, and that they're very supportive of what the High Sheriff does and the role of the High Sheriff. So those are the main support. But I do get involved with people like the Chief Constable for Police Awards and the Police and Crime Commissioner. So all of those people are involved in my role during the year of office.
Yeah. Do you have do you have a badge or any other regalia?
I have a badge which I'm wearing today, and a small lapel badge just to signify who I am. I haven't earned this at all. This is something that is just a badge of office. It's not a medal for doing anything. Just a badge of office so people recognise who I am. I do have a fancy outfit, which is court dress, but it's very elaborate. It has court shoes and trousers and a jacket, and I actually have a sword. But it isn't the sort of thing because I've been doing visits today where I've been walking around the streets of Carlisle. It's not the sort of thing you would wear in the public place on an ongoing basis. I'd wear it for special occasions, ceremonial occasions, maybe service at the cathedral and things like that, where I'm supporting other causes. But I do have a sword, and I'm one of the few people that's allowed to have a sword in public because it is classed as a dangerous weapon. So, but
Yes, that sounds very fancy. Did you enjoy coming to visit the Heathlands
I
today?
really do enjoy these visits. My wife and I have been around a number of organisations, and each one is totally different, but they're all very enjoyable because we're meeting lovely people and understanding about what goes on, and the community spirit, the volunteers, and the people that receive the assistance from those volunteers. It's just great to meet people and thoroughly enjoying it. Quite demanding because Cumbria is a big county, but it's worth making the trips to all of these different organisations.
And now we're gonna ask you some little bit, just a couple of off-topic questions. We're gonna start off with Mark's question that we've been asked this morning.
If you had to choose between chocolate or crisps, what would you go for?
Probably crisps. I'm a bit of a crisp fan actually. Salt and vinegar are my favourite,
Oh.
or XL cheese crisps. If I had to choose between a bar of chocolate and a packet of XL cheese crisps, XL cheese crisps would win every day. I do like chocolate though.
I gotta say I agree with the chocolate, but crisps are good too. Yeah, and we always end these interviews with Spit's favourite question. Spit was one of the support workers here at the Heathlands. He's off today because he had an operation. He's still recovering. So what he always asks at the end of every interview is, pineapple on pizza, is it a yay or nay for you?
I will eat it, but I wouldn't choose it by choice. So it's a bit of a yes no type answer, isn't it? Really, I wouldn't order a pizza with pineapple, but I would certainly eat it if it was on the pineapple. Oh, no, sorry, on the pizza.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming to the Heathlands today and answering our questions.
And it's been a pleasure to meet you. So join us as we say goodbye to everyone watching online and to those at home.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all again soon.
Yeah, bye everyone.
Bye. As you have seen, we have interviewed the one and only High Sheriff of Cumbria.
And we hope you enjoyed that interview, and hopefully one of the questions at the end there wasn't too controversial.
Like, I know we did enjoy interviewing him, as he was a lovely person to interview. Like,
A very down to earth man. Very down to earth, very loyal and yeah, just lovely guy in general. Yeah, so coming up right now we have
our scheduled Mr. Craft, so you thought the video was over. Well, guess what? We've got more for you.
Yep, it's a little bit later than normal, so we apologise.
So anyway, as usual, we have our guest presenter with a craft to share with you guys.
So far we've had videos from, here I go, myself and Mark Watson and Adrian, Helen Walsh and Susan.
Today we have a video from one of these people, but who can do it this time?
Hi Heathlands. Today I'm going to show you how to make paper beads, and these are just made from strips of paper rolled and glued. They're really pretty and you can use them for making jewellery or whatever else you would use beads for. So what you're going to need is some nicely patterned paper. I'm using some paper that we've marbled, a ruler, a pencil, something to roll your beads round like a paintbrush or a stick. You're going to need some glue. I'm just using a glue stick and a pair of scissors. Let's get started. On the back of my paper, I've marked out 2.5 centimetre gaps, and that's because my paper is 10 centimetre across and I wanted to get an even number of beads. So you're going to make marks on top of your paper and on the bottom of your paper. Then use your ruler to match up those marks that you've made to get nice straight lines. So basically what I'm doing is I'm dividing my paper into strips, and these strips are going to be what we make the beads out of. So the next step is to cut our strips out. And you can use pretty much any paper for this. You could use magazines, they often have nicely coloured pictures in, so it's a good way of using pictures from magazines. You can use patterned paper, plain paper, newspaper, nothing too thick. So there we go, I've got a nice set of strips ready to make into beads. So to make it into a bead, I'm going to start by putting some glue, and I'm still working on the back of my paper, so the right side's facing down towards the table. I'm going to leave a little gap at the top unglued, but the rest of it I'm going to put plenty of glue on. And then I'm going to carefully start rolling my paper around my stick. You can use a pencil or a paintbrush for this if you haven't got a stick to hand. And I'm just rolling it all the way down, and because I've got glue all over, it's sticking. Give it a good press down to make sure that that glue's stuck, and then slide it off, and there we have it, our first bead. So we'll show you that again. We're going to take our strip of paper. Again, I'm making sure that the right side is facing down. I'm going to leave a little gap at the top. And the reason we leave a little gap is if we glue that bit, then it will stick to whatever it is we're rolling our beads round. Then I'm going to roll my strip of paper around my stick or pencil, whatever you're using. Try not to choose anything too thick unless you want really, really big beads. There we go. Give that a good press down, make sure it's stuck, and slide it off. And you can keep going until you've got a really good stack of beads. So, have fun, Heathlands, and don't forget to show us how you get on.
As you've seen this week, we've got Helen Walsh making paper beads.
So it's quite an easy, simple activity to do. So if you ever fancy doing paper beads at home,
Give it a go.
give it a go. So anyway, what and who we will have next week, I wonder.
I think it's pretty much a who at this point. We never know, might have another guest presenter. Just saying. Still to come this week.
We have signing with Paula, which is back live this week after a week off.
So if you're not busy, join the signing group at 12:50 over Zoom.
Yeah. Quiz of the week answers and results are on Thursday at 1:30.
So join Helen on Thursday to see who this week's winners are. Maybe it'd be you. Not sure about you. You're sus. Definitely maybe you. So, you know.
So anyway, as customary to the Sportsmanatics and Quiz of the Week, you know what time it is.
Yep, time for the rules and forfeits.
So, no shouting out your answers. No cheating. No Googling. Be honest with your answers. You can write down only one answer, not two, not a dozen, and certainly not 100 million answers, and that is regardless of what format you are using. So whether it's a multiple choice, true or false, or single answer, you can only put down one. When you put down an answer, you can't change it, and again, that is regardless of what format you're using. So keep that in mind. Otherwise, cheaters will get a forfeit. So anyway, my 2 punishments will be you'd be made to eat a dry, plain sandwich. With nothing in it.
A bread on bread sandwich.
Just a bread on bread sandwich.
That's pretty much a dry, plain sandwich. It's just bread on bread.
It's just a lame sandwich.
No butter, no fillings, no pickles, no cheese.
And the other one, you're gonna be put into a rocket. You're gonna be sent up to the moon, and we're just gonna leave you there.
If that's possible.
I mean, yeah, we've been up to the moon like countless times, so yeah, that's possible.
Well, we better go to NASA. My punishments are you have to drink a cup of tea with 3 egg yolks floating in it. Raw. And my punishments are you gotta have a wrestling match with the winner. Whether you wear shorts outside or not.
Okay.
Yeah, anyways.
So anyways, our punishments are harsh but fair.
Yep.
So Heathlands Book Club with Jeanette and Susan has now finished. So there is no book club on Thursdays now for the rest of the year.
And on Fridays we have fitness rotation at 10:30.
Do, 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 do. Do, do, do.
Oh, because of the wrestling match thing.
Do.
Do, 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 do. Do, do. Oh, pinned ya. I'm a genius.
So anyway, Heathlands Live with... Is this right?
Possibly.
Well, we're not quite sure who's doing it. It's either going to be Helen and Mark or Smith and Mark. We're not quite
Or
sure.
Mike and Mark.
Or Mike and Mark. We're not quite sure.
Whether Smith comes in.
At 1:30.
Or you can do like a video chat via the Deepest Talks Harby.
Good.
To check up on him.
Well, if he wants to, if he can be bothered.
If he doesn't if he does slow your words, Smith. From the anesthetic. Anyways, Heathlands Live featuring the art showcase Extreme to the Max, probably featuring Heathlands Habitat, with the gift gaff of the week, and maybe from the art gallery opening, which happened on Friday evening at Tully House, with Once Upon a Planet. And you get to see the cute little Labour and modelling her stuff and her creations, and get to see the other people from across the Heathlands footprints creations as well. And who can ever forget the Great British Rudder? But before we can get to our main event of the Heathlands Home broadcast, we have a few announcements to make, and we kind of left it a little bit later on to tell you guys because we're trying to figure out when the right time is for this announcement. So you guys might have sussed it out. You guys might have not know. I don't know what. But you can tell them, Mark.
Well, you may have probably known this already. You might have. Awesome words. You might have known this already. You might have guessed it. You might have noticed already, or you may not know. But we decided that now is the right time to tell you guys that me and Sarah are a couple.
Yeah. Mark and I have been dating for over a year now, and we're about to approach 17 months on the 3rd of July, so it will be away by then, but we're happily a couple. And I can ask for a better boyfriend. No.
Aww.
And there's another announcement leading up to this as well, that Mark and I, says that we're a couple. We are going on holiday together, which is why you won't be seeing us next week. Not live, but I will get some footage for you guys. That we're going on holiday, and do you want to tell them where we're going?
We are going to the one and only Disneyland Paris
For the 30th anniversary, and who can ever forget the Marvel experience with the Marvel Avengers? Yeah, so which is why I'm wearing these cute little bags today. What, you're not doing a sample with that, are you? Yeah. So if you don't see us next week, that's where we'll be. But we will be back the following week after that, live. We're going to be back to it in a couple of weeks. But next week you won't see us because we're on holiday. So you'll still see us for Heathlands Gamers, but you won't see us live. We might switch some things up, like just premiere certain stuff. But I don't know what will be happening next week. But there will be something next week, I hope. Fingers crossed. Yeah, and we're matching shirts as well. See, Marvel. Yeah, so all that excitement announcement. We can now get to the main event of the Heathlands at Home broadcast.
The most popular part of the Heathlands at Home broadcast.
We have another new winning book to read to you.
Now, today's book is now, seeing as how Heather is watching it, I think she might enjoy this one.
Maybe.
It's called The Smeds and the Smooths.
I have never heard of this. Hope it has no Christmas scenes in it. So I apologise if there is. Hey!
Oh, look, there are a couple in this one. By Alubalar Lake, on a far-off planet, there lived a young Smed, and her name was Janet. Not far away on Humplety Hill, I said all right, Humplety.
Yeah, Humplety.
There lived a young Smoo by the name of Bill.
Smooth Bill.
Janet and Bill. Not our Bill.
Are you calling?
Janet, like all the Smeds, was red. This is what her grandfather said. Never, never play with the smoos. They sleep in the holes. They wear strange shoes. They jump about like kangaroos. Never play with the smoos. Bill, like the other smoos, was blue, and these were the words of Grandmother Smoo. Never, never play with the Smeds. They have strange hair upon their heads. They sleep in funny things called beds. Never, never play with Smeds. The Smeds on their leg liked nothing better than splashing about, getting wetter and wetter. But Janet grew bored with this watery play, and early one morning she tiptoed away. The Smoos jumped about on their humblety hill. They bounced up and down. It never stood still. But Bill was beginning to think, this is boring. So early one morning, he set off exploring. Janet met Bill in the Wapula.
Wapula.
The Wapula.
The Wapula. What's Wapula?
Where the trockles grew tall, and the glompoms
Grumpoms.
smelled good. The two rubbed antennae and played.
Mark. Mark. Don't go down that road.
She told him a story. He sang her a song. Then they climbed to the top of a jeerberry coot
Very good.
and nibbled its juicy and jellyful fruit.
It's called gummy sweets.
Till who should disturb them but Grandfather Smed, shaking his fist. And he angrily said, never, never play with a smood. They're such a nasty shade of blue. For the 100th time I say to you, never, never play with a smoo. Grandmother Smoo was close behind, and this is how she spoke her mind. Never, never play with a Smed. They're such a dreadful shade of red. I'll say again what I've always said. Never, never play with a Smed. Years went by on the far-off planet. Janet missed Bill, and Bill missed Janet. But off they crept whenever they could to sing and play in the Wapula Wood.
You getting it?
The two of them grew and decided to wed. But what do you think their grandparents said? Never, never marry a smoo. They're a beastly bunch. They're a crazy crew. They drink black tea. They eat green stew. Never, never marry a smoo. What's wrong with that?
So all different. What's wrong with that?
Never, never marry a smed. My dearest child, are you off your head? They drink pink milk. They eat brown bread. Never, never marry a smed. What's wrong with...
To be honest with you, I don't mind a pink drink or pink milk or milkshake or something, but I'm more of a white bread person than a brown bread person.
I'm putting in a complaint. This is discriminatory.
I know. To all different people everywhere.
Janet and Bill stole out that night while their family slept and the scroon shone bright. They clambered into the Smed's red rocket. Grandfather Smed had forgotten to lock it. Bill pressed the button and Janet steered. When their families woke, they both disappeared. The Smed said, "Your Bill must have stolen our Janet and taken her off to a distant planet." The Smooth said, "It's Janet who's stolen our Bill and lured him away from the Humblety Hill." The Smooths climbed into their rocket of blue, and they said to the Smeds, "You had better come too." Suspicious and scrolling, they soared into space.
What's the matter of Among Us reference? What happened to the imposter?
Till they reached the planet
Bumjum.
Vumjum, a dry, dusty planet. The Vums had long arms, which they waved in the air, but they didn't have news of the runaway pair. The next stop was Lurgstrop,
Lurgostrop.
covered in roses and watered by beasts with small eyes and long noses. They touched down on Grimbletosh, coated in grime. They searched planet
Glurch.
and found nothing but slime. One morning, the Smooths found out they'd run out of tea. So the Smeds shared their milk, which was pink as could be. Then Grandfather Smed said, "My hair needs a trim," and Grandmother Smoo kindly cut it for him.
Now they're getting along as different people.
They landed on Sculp,
Skloop.
where Scaloopies wore kilts.
Stop your shouting. Little joke from the Pepper Bubble.
They flew to
Klaboo.
where the Clabs walked on stilts. They searched all year long, then they searched longer still. But they didn't find Janet, they didn't find Bill. "Alas," said the Smooths, and the Smed said, "Alack, we have failed in our quest, we had better turn back." So they turned and flew home to their very home planet, and far down below they saw Bill and Janet. The rocket touched down, then they ran to the wood, where the trockles grew tall and the glompoms smelled good. And there in the glade, by the rocket of red, where the runaway Smoo and the runaway Smed, they'd got lost and flown home again, only to find that all the others had left them behind. There was joy, jam, and jumping. Then Janet said, "Maybe you'd like to make friends with our dear little baby." "A baby? A red one? A blue one?" But no.
Oh.
That baby was purple from head to toe.
Mixed up, yeah.
They all hugged the Smooth Med, their new baby brother, and Grandpa and Gran even hugged one another. They laughed and they splashed, and they danced with delight, and they played with that baby from morning till night. They made him a rattle, they made him a flute, they fed him the fruit of the gerberry coot. Then they sang by the light of the silvery scroon, and you can sing too.
By the light of the silvery scroon.
If you make up a tune. Play with the Smeds and play with the Smoos. Play with whichever friends you choose. Then close your eyes and while you snooze, dream of the Smeds and dream of the Smoos.
That's quite good singing.
And there you go.
Couples who are like different races from different parts of the planet. We should be getting along like the world should be.
So anyway, we are back again live the week after with another awesome book to read to you.
Have a great rest of your week. Stay safe and stay happy. And this happy couple shall see you again in the next couple of weeks. Bye-bye.
Bye.